You try to escape inner chaos. Thoughts collide. Tension rises. You plan to find peace by changing the mind. You expect quiet to arrive later. Ibn Arabi questioned this plan at the root. He said peace is not outside the noise. Peace is the ground in which noise appears. To fight the mind is to feed it. Attention strengthens what it resists. If awareness already holds both calm and agitation, where does conflict actually begin? In content or in the claim that content should be different? If chaos shows up inside awareness, then escape assumes a place outside awareness. But there is no outside to awareness. The issue is not experience. The issue is identification. So the question becomes simple. Who is truly trapped? Experience or the one insisting on control? Ibn Arabi lived in 12th and 13th century Andalusia and the Eastern Islamic world. He studied law, theology, and mysticism. He organized these into a single view he called the unity of being. In that view, every state is disclosure. Confusion discloses as surely as clarity. He did not teach escape. He taught recognition. He argued that reality is one act of being that shows itself as many modes. Mind, heart, doubt, and understanding are modes within one field. If all modes belong to the same field, excluding any mode distorts the whole. Then peace cannot be produced by division. It must be found as comprehension. You call the mind chaotic when it moves faster than your plan. Thought is motion. You want stability, so you turn motion into an enemy. You adopt each thought as me or mine. This produces pressure. Ownership adds weight to what was a passing event. Ibn Arabi described multiplicity without panic. Many thoughts, one awareness. The label disorder adds a second problem, the judgment that movement should stop. Now there is movement and resistance to movement. Tension doubles. What happens if you remove ownership and judgment? Thoughts still move, but the extra layer fades. If thought rises and falls by itself, why claim authorship? And if you stop authoring, what is left to fight? Ibn Arabi explained that awareness and its content are not two substances. They are one reality with two aspects, knowing and what is known. When you watch anger, the watching and the anger occur in the same field. The sense of a watcher above experience is a useful idea, not a separate station. Placing yourself above creates conflict with what is below. But both sides appear within one awareness. So the question shifts. Not how do I calm the storm, but what calls this a storm? If the label and the sensation arise together, remove the label. What remains is pure appearing. Can appearing itself disturb the capacity in which it appears? You plan a future point when chaos will end. This plan seems practical. It postpones peace to protect the promise of control. Ibn Arabi warned that postponement strengthens separation. A later peace implies a present defect. The mind then polices experience and calls that vigilance practice. But vigilance against the present is fragmentation. Peace cannot arrive as the enemy of what is here. Real quiet does not require winning. It requires accuracy. See what is present as it is. Notice the wish to relocate. Question it. If chaos cannot be outside awareness, then escape is a story inside awareness. A story cannot deliver what it denies. Ibn Arabi's method is inclusion. Inclusion is not approval. It is precision. It says this thought exists. This feeling exists. Both appear in one field. The field does not argue. When you include, resistance loses fuel. Inclusion lets experience complete its natural course. Exclusion freezes it. Try this in real time. Label what is present. Notice the push. Pause the push. Let the label go. Stay with simple appearing. Often the intensity softens by itself, not because you fixed it, but because you stopped feeding it. Peace is revealed, not produced. If every content can be hosted, what can still threaten the host? You seek calm without agitation and clarity without doubt. Yet those pairs are informative. Without one, the other would be unrecognizable. Ibn Arabi held that unity shows itself as contrast. This is not a flaw. It is pedagogy. Contrast educates perception. When you reject half the pair, you reject the lesson. Include both, and the swing lessens. Not by force, but by understanding. Calm is now seen even during agitation as the constant capacity to know. Doubt becomes the surface, clarity the ground. The oscillation slows because the ground is recognized. If both sides are modes within one reality, can either side be the enemy of the whole? You think of the self as a stable owner. Ibn Arabi described the self as a process of knowing. What you call I is a configuration that keeps updating. When I is taken as fixed, change feels like threat. When I is seen as process, change feels like function. Identity widens from possession to participation. You are not the contents you manage. You are the capacity in which contents display. This reframing ends the habit of self-defense. The mind's motion is no longer evidence against you. It is evidence of life. If the self is the field rather than the item, what item can endanger the field? You expect discipline to defeat chaos. Discipline can be helpful, but without understanding it becomes another fight. Ibn Arabi put understanding first. See accurately and struggle loses purpose. Recognition shifts the basis of action. You no longer act to become complete. You act from completeness recognized. This is not passivity. It is efficiency. Less friction, more clarity. The authority of chaos dissolves because its status changes, from threat to me, to content in me. Freedom appears as the absence of unnecessary defense. If clarity is the natural state of awareness, is liberation anything more than removing a mistaken description? Ibn Arabi taught that stillness and movement can coexist. The screen does not stop moving images. It allows them. Awareness does not stop thought. It holds it. This holding is the stillness. It is constant during action, decision, and speech. You can notice it now. The simple fact of being aware before the next thought. That fact remains through every change. When you live from that fact, you do not need the mind to be different. The mind can work. The ground is already steady. If steadiness is the ground, what work is left for control besides tiring itself out? Practice then becomes ordinary. You answer messages. You plan a task. You meet someone. You notice reactions. You include them. You do what is needed. No split between spiritual and daily. One awareness, many roles. If tension rises, you meet it as content, not identity. If clarity appears, you do not claim it as a personal trophy. Both are movements within the same field. Responsibility stays. Self-attack fades. Decisions improve because fear is no longer the main advisor. This is harmony in Ibn Arabi's sense. Unity functioning as diversity. If each moment is the same field in a new shape, where can opposition take hold? You began by trying to escape inner chaos. You hoped for a later peace. Ibn Arabi turned the direction around. He said escape is the generator of turmoil. The cure is not distance. The cure is accuracy. Recognize awareness as the place where all states occur. See resistance as extra noise. Let inclusion reveal order within motion. Let contrast instruct rather than divide. Let identity soften from owner to capacity. Then peace is not the prize at the end. It is the context from the start. Noise may continue, but it no longer claims the center. The method is simple. Understand, include, and rest as awareness. If peace is the ground of appearing, what remains to reach except the clarity to notice it now?